Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Coach McVay Show, presented by Microsoft Surface. I'm JB Long with Super Bowl champion D'Marco Farr and the head coach of your Los Angeles Rams, Sean McVay. Appreciate you being here, rain or shine, as the Rams turn their attention to the home opener, Week 3 against San Francisco. Well, you told us last night as we left it in Glendale that you'd have to reimagine a lot of things about the 2024 Los Angeles Rams and where you go from here. In fairness, it's only been 24 hours, but what have you come up with so far?
Yeah, I mean, we digest really the situation. You know, unfortunately, we lose three significant starters that are going to be out for an extended period of time, and Jonah Jackson, Cooper Kupp, and John Johnson. And so as soon as I finish up with you guys, you know, our planning for the 49ers will start. I feel bad for these guys, you know, because I think what a lot of people don't realize, you know, it's tough for our team, but it's tough for these individuals. The amount of time and effort and dedication that goes in to being available and for how it can be quickly taken away from you. This game is humbling, but it's also, you know, it's tough when the stark reality of some of those things comes to fruition, you know, for individuals that you love and care about. But our job is to figure out how to move forward, and we can play better. We have to be able to play better, and I expect us to play more quality football than what yesterday looked like. I always look at myself first, and I have to coach better. And we got to have a better week of preparation, a higher sense of urgency, and figure out, all right, what is the best way to maximize the guys that we do have available on offense, on defense. I thought our special teams was a positive, bright spot. We hit all of our kicks. I love the opening kick return from Blake Corum. I thought it was big to be able to pin the punt down inside the one with Charles Woods. But we have to play better offensively and defensively, and there's a lot of and it's not one thing. It's a lot of different things, and we're all in this thing together.
Trying to flush it, like you said, get rid of it. You flush the feeling, but not the learning you can get from the tape, right?
That's exactly right. You know, it's one of those deals that you have to acknowledge it and you have to be able to move forward. We don't want to live in the past, but we do want to make sure that we learn from it. Mm-hmm. And 3 hours will never define us unless we allow it to. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe that that's what's going to be the case with our football team. I'm excited about being able to try to do the next right thing when they come back in on Wednesday. I like the way that they handled the corrections, the accountability that needed to be shared from starting with us as coaches onto the players, and how we can play better quality football that's more in alignment with the way that we want to have our style of play come to life. And what does the tape tell you? And yesterday wasn't it. And you give the Cardinals credit for creating that.
Let's start with Cooper Kupp's ankle sprain on the heels of Puka Nacua, obviously. Yep. And really, since you knew what you had in Cooper Kupp, this has been an 11 personnel, 3 receiver ecosystem.
Yep.
With those two guys down, is it a fair question to ask if that's still the best alignment for the 24 Rams?
Yeah, no, we've got to be able to figure out some different things. And there's been a lot of lack of continuity at a lot of spots offensively, whether it be up front, whether it be at the skill positions. You know, unfortunately, you know, you see Davis Allen missed the game last week with back spasms. And so it's fair to absolutely say, how do we best utilize our personnel moving forward? Two key and critical factors of that 11 personnel outfit as starters aren't part of that equation right now. And so we do need to reimagine it, like we said, exactly what that comes to based on a combination of things, starting with us first and foremost, and then going towards the opponent is something that we've got to be able to figure out, and it's our job to be able to maximize that.
Is that like, who do we have, and then what can we do with the guys we have, that reimagining?
Yeah, and then, you know, who are you going against, and what type of responses do you expect that to elicit?
I can only imagine what's that like for you during a game. Like, I want to call this, but I'm not sure if I can. I'm not sure if he knows. I mean, how does that affect you as a player?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, here's what I would say. That's part of our job, but there's a lot of planning and a lot of detail that goes into it, and that time is so precious, and so those reps, they matter so much, and then having to adjust, streamline is part of the job. But there's been a lot more of that than what I've ever experienced in the first 2 weeks, especially. But this is the situation. This is the hand that we're dealt, and we all care about one another. I feel terrible for those players. I know their families and their teammates do, but the outside world, you know, this league goes on, and it's a thankless league, and we've got to continue to figure out how do we improve and how do we play a lot better than what we did yesterday.
Where do you go next at guard?
You know, Logan Bruss is the next man up. He's done a good job at camp. I think there's been a lot of improvements there in both phases, and so Logan would be the next guy up.
You know, just defensively speaking, this is weird. You always attack the problem and not the guy. But when you're trying to chase around a guy like Kyler Murray, and the coaching point is, we'll get him on the ground. Well, I'm trying. I mean, that's got to be frustrating for everybody on the bench and on the field at the same time. How do you coach that without damaging your player's psyche?
I think there's certain things in terms of the integrity of how you want to rush them, how it really takes everybody collectively pursuing, where you can leave yourself susceptible to some of those extended plays. And then sometimes you have to be able to tip your cap to him and say, what an amazing job. I mean, the one touchdown that he throws off schedule in the back of the end zone, he's almost scrambling around for 9 seconds. You know, that's a strain on our back end. But he extended a handful of plays, both as a runner and as a passer, and made us pay on all of them.
If finishing is the challenge for Jared Verse, and I guess the good news is through 2 games, he's shown the ability to create plenty of disruption, to be there around the quarterback.
Yeah, he is. I like the way this guy plays the game, JB. He's a mentally tough guy. He's physically tough. He's a grown man. He's going to continue to mature. You know, Joe does a good job with that room. He's going to continue to own and understand exactly where his play opportunities arise. But, you know, just the way that he played from start to finish, there was a lot of positives in terms of the physicality, the relentlessness that you saw. He forces a great fumble, and it falls into their hands where they recover it for their last touchdown. It was kind of one of those days yesterday, but that was a good effort played by him. There's a lot of positives from Jared Verse, without a doubt.
It's like a truck. JJ is hurt as well, JJ the third?
He is.
Oh, man. How do you replace, what do you do about that spot?
Cam Kitchens has got to step up.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's a guy that we like. He's done some really good things, but he's going to mature faster than maybe we anticipated. But JJ has done a really good job through the first couple weeks. His presence, his calm, his communication. Obviously, we saw the great pick that he made in week 1, making a great tackle on a play action, you know, and where he ended up getting that shoulder. I think there was original fears that it was labrum. I think he was encouraged that it wasn't something more significant where it was just his scapula, but it still is going to leave him out for, you know, an extended period of time, and he'll be missed.
You might get him back at some point.
Yeah, we should.
Okay.
For either of you, given your playing experience too, when you see more than 20 missed tackles, but you're in the middle of a season, in the middle of September, you're not going to put the pads on and go fix that on a Wednesday here, I assume. But how do you address that week over week?
Yeah, I think you look at each one of those. I think they're all separate entities. You know, why are they occurring? How do we drill it? How do we fix that? You know, what are those things? And there are certain ones where, you know, you alluded to it with Kyler scrambling around. I'd be interested to see, all right, let's look at all of those. And let's see, there was obviously a few of them in that overtime period against Detroit that Montgomery did a great job. But I thought for the most part against the Lions, who have excellent skill players, with the exception of that, and you can't, I mean, that counts, but there were some positives. And then yesterday was not reflective of the way that we want to tackle as a whole. Connor broke a bunch of tackles. I think some of our angles, our approaches, our fits, and our finishes need to be more in alignment with the standards that we expect to operate with, and that I believe that we're capable of operating with.
That's a big dude. Me, I'd be out there practicing. I'd do it myself. I would. I mean, it's all about effort. It's all about want to. So I would be practicing how to tackle and not expecting coach to put it in the practice.
looked a little bit different in your day, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, they can't stop me from working, right?
There you go.
Yeah,
That's
see,
right.
I'd show up and do it.
Speaking of tackling, I imagine, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but Budda Baker's pretty high on your like Mount Rushmore of opposing players, isn't he? You've talked about him before.
The relentlessness at which he plays. You know, he was a factor in a lot of areas. We knew that going in. That's the way that they allow him to be able to have a little bit of free reign within their scheme, and he made his presence felt, and we didn't do a good enough job handling him.
Either he's smart or he's guessing right every time.
I think he's got
a good player.
Good concept trigger, and he's got some good freedom within their scheme. They do a good job utilizing his, you know, elite traits.
With Alaric's return at left tackle, I'm sure you're glad to have him back. But how frustrating was that to miss him for off-the-field reasons, and what can he do to kind of make up for lost time here starting in week 3?
Just go back to work. You know, it was frustrating, and it hurt us, you know, not having him. But here we are. You know, that's in the past. We've got to be able to move forward, and that's not exclusively to him. That's in a lot of different spots, and collectively, that's what I'm most interested in seeing as our team, you know, navigates week 3.
I can't wait. Bo Limmer, I thought, had a pretty good day at center. I mean, it's hard to say after 41-10, but I thought he had a pretty good day at center.
He did some good things.
Yeah.
You know, he's showing some positives. He's a tough guy, smart, conscientious. We need to be better as a whole collectively, but there were some positive takeaways to your point.
Not that you need our encouragement, but I like the 4th down decisions so far, even though they haven't paid off. Process over results. You feel good about those choices?
I do. Yeah, you know, we've had opportunities to execute on the ones that we've fallen short, and it just hasn't gone down for us. But I would not change the decisions on those. Still,
respect level for 9 keeps growing. The guy is just he's made of the right stuff. I mean, this is the quarterback you want for your football team.
Yeah, no doubt.
He wants to take every single snap, and I love that.
That's true, no question.
What do you mean? Like I'm not coming out yesterday?
I'm not coming out. I know. I respect that. I get everybody wants to worry about his safety, but he cares about his dudes. It's important to him.
Yeah,
I thought that was super important.
No question.
And then Jimmy steps back into the fold this week. I mean,
he does.
Hope you don't have to utilize him, but he's a presence in that room again now.
He is, and it's good. We've had him back in the meeting rooms and different things like that. He and Alaric over the last week, and now they'll both be back on the 48, which is good for our team.
Want to ask about Blake Corum. We saw him in live action for the first time on offense, albeit against some reserves. What first impression did you see?
Thought he did a great job in the kick return. You felt him. That was a good positive spark for our team. Unfortunately, we weren't able to capitalize on that momentum. And then I thought he did some good things. He showed, some of the twitch and some of the good feel. Obviously slipped on the one that he was trying to cut back on, but I thought there were some overall positives, and we got to get him going a little bit more.
Absolutely. You got 3 running backs that look all the same. Why not? Does it matter who the opponent is this week? I know it's San Francisco week. I like to say that, but it could be anybody. You just want to get back on the field this week.
Yeah, we need to get back on the field. We need to play quality football. This is an amazing, an excellent opponent coming in that we have a ton of respect for. Their recognition and the credit that they receive from a coaching perspective, personnel, schematic, it's all earned, and it's something that we have to focus on, playing better football. We have to figure out what it looks like to get guys in the right spots, and that's what our week will be, focused on for sure.
We've talked about Purdy's elusiveness within and outside the pocket before. I get he's not Kyler, but in terms of a next step and shoring up some of the weaknesses from last week, not a bad next test.
No question. No, he does a great job. I mean, he's got enough athleticism, JB, to be able to make you pay in a variety of ways. He's got great escapability. He's more, he can certainly make you pay as a scrambler, but he's moving to keep his eyes downfield to remain a passer. But I've seen him make multiple plays with his feet, convert, and, move the sticks. And he's a guy that I know. You've seen a bunch of film on him. You got a tremendous amount of respect for the body of work that he has in a short period of time, and his resume kind of speaks for itself.
I love it. In the storm, right? This is
we
where
are.
we are. Yeah,
got to handle it the right way. This is the separator.
Yeah.
So here we are.
I mean, what are you looking for out of your team, like the next time you hit the field?
I'm looking for all of us to respond, to play up to the standards the way that we're capable of, to play with a mental and a physical toughness, to play smart. I'm looking for us, starting with myself, to do a good job of identifying, all right, what are the things that our guys can do? How do we accentuate their skill sets? And what does it look like to put a quality product out there that our fans can be proud of, but more importantly, that these guys are capable of and what they deserve based on the work that they put in throughout the course of the week? Let's go see what that looks like.
Well, let's get to it. Thank you for stopping by,
Thanks,
Sean.
guys.
For Sean McVay, for D'Marco Farr, I'm JB Long. This, the Coach McVay Show, presented by Microsoft Surface.